Hey guys, Leona here with Empowering Wellness. Tonight is our final step to the Unstoppable You, which is all about joy, which is absolutely perfect because this week is our Christmas week, which hopefully you guys are surrounding yourself with things that create joy in your life. So if you're not part of my virtual book club Facebook group, make sure you go to Empowering Wellness Virtual Book Club. I would love to have you guys all join us in there so you can see if you have missed any of the other nights that we have gone live, that you're able to see us in that group. So I just streamed live into the group, and we're having Dr. Ellen coming in, who has created the book right here, which is From Simply Surviving to Radically Thriving, 5 Steps to Unleashing Unstoppable You. So we have the final step, joy, which 'tis the season to be jolly. It is all about joy this week. So whatever you celebrate, merry, merry, happy, happy, all the things. And remember to bring joy into your life. So that is our 5th and final steps. Hello, Ellen. How are you?
It's so good, my friend. How are you?
Awesome. I'm so great. I'm going to let you introduce yourself as I go get my earbuds so that I can
Okay,
hear you.
that would be great. Good evening, everyone. I'm Dr. Ellen Mosty. I am a transformational life coach, a speaker, and best-selling author of the book that Leona just showed you, From Simply Surviving to Radically Thriving, 5 Steps to Unleash Unstoppable You. And for those of you that don't know me and haven't been on the previous 4 weeks, I was a hospital pharmacist. I worked for Merck Pharmaceuticals before I decided to take a break from Western medicine and learn how to actually heal the body from the inside out. And my light formula is part of that. It is my own journey to healing and health and vitality, and lastly, to joy. So I am so excited to be here tonight. I'm still coming off the high of the Unstoppable You Summit from the first week of the month. Great job, Leona and Sean, for pulling off just a wonderful summit with some great speakers and a lot of great information. So
Yes, you're
hope
so
you all took
welcome.
advantage of that. And if you did
Yes.
not, maybe there's a way you still can.
hmm Yeah, absolutely. I still think that if they want VIP access, we could be able to give them access to get all the replays and everybody's gifts. I know some of the gifts are time sensitive, so we're like kind of in that final week before everything goes. But yes, it was so amazing having you and all of our amazing speakers to give the steps and the momentum and the energy to really bring us into the new year, right? It's the fire horse here. It's all about igniting your fire, getting your passion, getting your creative. The horse is all about momentum and movement and action. And it's a 1 year. So it's a building a foundation. And so that's what we really tried to do in the Unstoppable You Summit, was building that foundation, giving you the tips and tricks in order to be able to make sure that 2026 is the year that you get to be unstoppable. So that is my word for the new year. And I know your word for the new year is dance, which I love because it's all about creating movement, right? Action, which is the perfect word for, I think, the horse year. Mine's obviously going to be unstoppable. I have put in all that energy to be unstoppable in my own physical body and journey. I'm getting better on the elliptical, longer time to create momentum. With business, creating more clients, creating more space and time. It's all about that momentum, creating that movement to being unstoppable. And I love that dance is your word for that, because I do believe that that just embodies the joy that we're going to talk about tonight and how you can
Yeah.
express it in the body. That's why I always have in my New Year, New You event, which if you're local here to Jacksonville is January 25th, that Sunday from 2 to 5, we're going to do embodiment practice of ecstatic dance with drumming after we drink the cacao medicine. And we're going to be doing, a beautiful sound healing and theta healing to like really clear and put the energy in. And it's all about that momentum and that movement going forward to really embrace the horse year. So I'm really excited about all my new year, new you events that are happening in January, because it really is going to help with people with their embodiment. And ecstatic dance is one of my favorite ways to embody the energy of movement and joy for sure. So,
Oh, that is so much fun. And actually, I started embracing um, this year's word already, or next year's word already this year, and did a Kundalini dance experience on Sunday. So I would love to hear more about your event on the 25th. If I'm here, I might be on the marketer's cruise. So I'll have to check that
mm-hmm.
calendar. Um, but you're right. And my light formula, which is what my book is based on, this is actually chapter 4, and it is the 5th step and the light formula, and that is take time for joy. Joy is not a reward for surviving life. Joy is the fuel that allows your life to work. And with 2 days before Christmas, there's a lot
Mm-hmm.
of things I know you could all be doing. You could be out there doing last minute shopping or gift wrapping or making food, but you're taking this 30 minutes for you to find out what brings you joy, because I do believe that's where that passion's going to come from. That's where that fire is going to come from to propel us through 2026. And I'm just so excited that that is the energy coming through in 2026, because I have big plans, and we'll talk more about that later. But so many women around the world are finding themselves so overextended at this time of year. And some people are actually counting the days until it's all over so they can just collapse and relax. And I don't know where you are, so please put it in the comments. I did see a few loves going by, and I think I saw my cousin Amy is on. So hi, Amy. And whoever else is on, hopefully as you comment, I will see your names. So please comment. But first, I'd like for us to just take a moment, feel our feet on the floor, and take a breath. How many times do we just rush from activity to activity, from commitment to commitment, without ever taking that time to pause and check in and reconnect with ourselves, with our heart? And ask yourself, without judgment, when was the last time I felt genuine joy? Not relief, not numb, not at least that's over, but real joy, that laughter, that lightness, that bubbliness bubbling up in your body, where your shoulders drop and you think, oh, there I am. If your answer is you can't remember, and I used to be like that, um, I hope this evening gives you some of that joy back, brings that back to you in this moment, because I think that living from a place of joy is just so much more fun than the other places we could live, which is being buried under all of our obligations and our commitments and our busyness.
Yeah.
So thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule uh, to be here, because you are exactly at the right place at the right time. Coincidence? I don't think so. I think
Yeah.
it's meant to be. So let me ask you a few questions, and Leona, you can play along and answer the questions as I ask them. And if you're here on live, please put them in the comments. If you're watching this later, please still put them in the comments, because I will go back and I will get those and would love to hear how this is landing in your world. Have you ever told yourself, I'll rest later?
Yes.
Have you ever postponed joy because life felt too overwhelming?
Yes.
Yes. I see another nod. Do you want to feel more alive, creative, and at ease in your body? Not someday, but right now.
Yes.
Yes. And what if joy wasn't something you had to earn? It was something that you could actually give to yourself and could actually lead your life from. How would
Yes.
that be?
That would be awesome.
And I see a lot of that in you. I see your passion. I see all that you give into the world. So I'm grateful for this opportunity to give you some time to sit back and to take in and receive for yourself. and again for everybody online. So if any of those questions resounded with you as a yes, please put a comment in the chat so I can see that. If you're
It's
nodding,
funny.
you're not alone. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's funny. It's like I schedule joy moments, right? Like I have to like schedule them. So the other weekend I went to Orlando to see my best friend and her family and the kids, and to see Christmas time through like kids' eyes and vision brought me so much joy. And to see all the kids, we wore our pajamas at this pajama party and they were all playing outside and they were just having the time of their lives. And they put on some music and we did like the line dance, like the cha-cha slide and like the wobble and stuff. And I danced with them and it was so fun. And I was like, this is so joyous because I was like living the moment with those kids, seeing that joy of like the holiday spirit through their eyes. But I mean, I had to schedule that I had to go away and go out of town and do the things to capture the joy moment. So
Ex-
I always joke that I plan to be spontaneous, right? Like I capture time frames. I'm like, here, you can be spontaneous, whatever you want to do, like whatever brings you joy. Like this is the time frame to do it in. So
Yes, I get that. And that's a great way to make sure that it actually happens because, we schedule other things that are really important to us, doctor's appointments, meetings, and yet somehow we feel like our own joy or our own, what fills us up is frivolous or to like can't be scheduled in. It should just be spontaneous. And yet if we're not finding those spontaneous moments of joy, and today, I mean, I found spontaneous joy in actually doing laundry. I came back from a week-long amazing trip and it just felt good to be home and to be tending to my chores, and it actually brought me joy. um, as well as I took about 10 minutes and did a watercolor, which I did post on Facebook. So you can look at my page and find that. I colored some flip flops today. But but the core issue of why we lose joy, it's not because we don't want it. We lose it because we're in survival mode. We're trying to prove ourselves. We're trying to get to the next thing, to fulfill on that next commitment, or to fulfill on those expectations that we have of ourselves. And especially this time of year. I mean, Joy to the World's playing on the radio, and yet so many of us don't feel it in our hearts. And we feel like, we have to do so much to make this holiday special. And if we could just slow down and be present like you did with your friends and with their kids and having fun and spontaneous times. But that survival mode tells us that joy can wait. We'll play when things calm down or when I get this done or that done, or I just need to get through this day, season, week, month, year. So we're always postponing that joy. And I think a lot of times, at least for myself, I thought that joy was a reward for doing what I was supposed to do. And now I'm finding those moments of joy is what lights me up and gives me the energy to go and do the next thing that's on my to do list. Survival mode has its place. It does keep us surviving, it keeps us breathing, it keeps us functional in the world, it keeps us responsible and productive. It does keep us going. What it doesn't do is help us thrive. And thriving doesn't come from trying harder and doing more. It comes from coming back to your body, giving your body some time to say what it needs, what rhythm and pace feels good to it and to your joy. And that is why I created the light formula so that we could all experience what it's like to thrive and not just survive life. And I believe, as I said earlier, joy is not frivolous, it's foundational. I believe women don't need to be fixed. They need to feel safe and supported. They need to find that own rhythm of their heart and their body and learn to lean into that and what your body needs. And I'll go through all the 5 steps of the light formula later. Tonight is the last step again. It's the take time for joy. And I do really want to thank everyone for being here tonight. Leona for hosting this space, for us to come on live and talk about my book and what brings joy to our lives and how our lives can look when they're led by joy versus expectations and responsibilities. And it does take time out of a schedule to show up. So, however you're showing up tonight is perfect. And I'm so grateful that you are here taking this time for you. There was a season in my life when the joy wasn't gone, it was just buried. On the outside, I looked capable, accomplished, dependable. I was the one everyone relied on. And on the inside, I was tired, disconnected from myself, and running on fumes. I don't know how many of you feel that way. If you do, put yes in the comments. And Leona, I don't know if you've experienced that in your own life.
Oh yeah.
Got a double thumbs up.
Oh yeah.
I just think it's societal expectations, it's our own expectations of what life is we're supposed to do or how life is supposed to be. And we just get buried under all of those obligations. And I'm here to tell you that I believe that there is another way. Using joy as a practice. And for me, it didn't come in one fell swoop. It came from me asking every day, what brings me joy? Even if I do it for just 5 minutes. Is it turning on a song and dancing? Is it walking out in nature? Is it sitting down and coloring a coloring book page? Is it calling a friend and just saying hello? What is it that lights you up, that brings you joy, that allows that to bubble up inside of you? Anything bubbling up for you?
Oh yeah, I love a good chat with my friends because a lot of my really good friends don't live near me. So when I'm driving, instead of getting stressed out with all the traffic and being like this and listening to Joy to the World, I'd much rather call my friends and say what's going on in the world and catch up. And you know that brings me joy. Connecting with my friends, dancing brings me joy. Getting out in nature. Now I can say that getting on the elliptical gives me joy. Like there was a season in my life that I was like, oh my God, I have to go to the gym and get on the elliptical so I can get my cardio in. And with 4 surgeries in the last year and a half, now I get to go to the gym and I get to have the experience on the elliptical. And it brings me joy and so much accomplishment that I have done it. And it doesn't feel like a check, but like a celebration every time I get off of it. So,
Oh, that's fantastic.
mhm.
And just that slight shift in perception.
Yeah,
You know,
I
is it
get to
something I
versus
have
have
to
to.
do? Or
Hmm.
now that when I couldn't do it for a year and a half and now I get to do it
Hmm.
and to celebrate that. And that's another thing that can bring joy is just celebrating. I think that's partly what brought me joy today is just that sense of accomplishment of having some laundry done and some of my things clean so I can wear them again. Um, so it's just that looking at your life and seeing where you can find joy and even maybe some of the mundane tasks of life of just having that sense of accomplishment.
Hmm.
Joy also helps you regulate your nervous system. Joy tells your nervous system that you're safe, that you can breathe, that you can be here. Because oftentimes when we're rushing and pushing and striving, joy gets lost in that process. And so do we. And so it's really a matter of tuning back in and allowing that joy to come forth. And it isn't childish to be joyful. It's contagious, as you noticed with being spending time with your friends and their kids. I'm sure that even if you had gone in there stressed from the travel, that just being in their joy and their celebration of the season would have brought you up.
Yep, 100%. It came at the exact time that I needed it after all of the stress. So yeah, it was perfect. And it does, shift your state of being so quickly because it is so contagious. And, you know, especially like the little guy, he's 5, and just to tickle him. And, you know, when a kid likes something, they're like, do it again, right? And they get so excited and you do it again, and then they love it and you do it again. And like, we went on for like, you know, minutes and minutes, but it seems like, you know, a long time, but it's just because he was laughing so much what made me laugh so much. And it's so contagious, and it's so beautiful to see that joy through a child's eyes, and remember and celebrate our inner child to have that kind of expression through it. So yeah, it was really great. It was very contagious.
Exactly. And again, I think society tells us as adults, you're supposed to, there's this, you have to be serious and you have to be responsible. And you can be responsible and have fun. You can let life be easy and let it be fun. And so that's the other question that I ask myself. It's like, where can I let this be easy and where can I let it be fun instead of getting stressed? Like you said, with traffic. I mean, you can be there all white knuckled and tense and your shoulders up, and then wonder why you're like stiff and in pain when you get out of the vehicle. Or you can call a friend or put on some music that you really like and just enjoy the time. You're there anyway.
Yep.
You're not going to change traffic. So finding the joy in the moment. And so I did say that I would briefly recap the light formula. So for those of you that may have missed the other weeks, they are in this group. So you can go back and watch the videos. But step one of the light formula is love yourself first, having compassion for yourself before criticism. And I know for myself, my inner critic was a loud voice for a really, really long time until I learned that I could actually grab the volume knob and turn it down. So you can try that the next time your inner critic pops up and says, you can't, or why would you want to do that? Or Joy's silly. Just grab the volume control and just turn that to mute, turn it off, and allow that inner child to come forth with some joy and happiness. The next is inner check in, checking in and listening to your body and your emotions. Oftentimes, this time of year, you know, it used to be my automatic was yes. Someone asked me to do something, yes. And I've learned to pause, to check my calendar, to look and see if that really fits and supports me before I say yes. Because a lot of times my mouth would say yes and my body would be screaming, no, we're overcommitted, or we don't have time to do that. And that's the other thing, looking at what you do have time for, to show up present and to be the person that you want to be. If 5 events in one day is stressing you out, then that's how you end up showing up for those events, is stressed out. And so that's one way of being. And that's a way of being that I did for a long time because I thought I wanted all these experiences and I didn't want to disappoint anyone, and I didn't want to be disappointed and feel like I was missing out. So I would say yes to everything. And then, I end up through the holidays exhausted and burned out and not my joyful, happy self. So, you know, there's a few minutes of reflection of saying what works for me and what doesn't really can help at this time of year. The next is healthy foundations. And we did talk about that 2 weeks ago, or 3 weeks ago. And that is nourishment, rest, movement, and hydration. So you do notice me with my water bottle taking sips periodically, because staying hydrated is really, really important at this time of year. When you're pushing your body, when you're trying to do a lot, making sure that you're hydrated with water really helps. Next is grace and gratitude. And those alone help you release the shame and the perfectionism that sometimes can pop up at this time of year, especially when we're with family and when there's all these expectations of our life looking like a Hallmark movie. This like perfect Norman Rockwell painting. And life is sometimes a lot messier than that. And being okay with it and rolling with what is versus having those expectations of what should be. And then last, which is we talked about tonight, is taking time for joy, using joy as a regulator, a compass, and knowing that it is your birthright to have joy in your life and that you can use that to lead your life by asking me, does this bring me joy or does this bring me down? Before you say yes to whatever is being asked of you or whatever you're asking of yourself. And that's maybe the more important question is, am I putting undue pressure on myself to live up to some kind of an expectation or standard that's not realistic? And I know for myself, I had years of that, of this like high, perfect standard that if I messed up somehow, like my whole life was going to go into shambles, and realizing that most of the time, even if I make mistakes, they're not life shattering and they're not life ending. Life does go on, the world's still spinning. So, releasing a lot of that pressure allows that joy, again, that gets buried under all of that, to bubble back up. So, if anything tonight resonated with you and you're thinking, wow, I really would love to have more joy in my life, and how do I do that? I really need the support to make sure that I'm consistently doing these 5 steps so that I can be my unstoppable self in 2026. I have 3 different options for you. I have a monthly self love tune up experience. There are 2 calls in the month. And in January, they are the 3rd and the 14th. And so they're normally $33, and I will put a code in the comments below that will give you 50% off of that for January so that you can start 2026 with love and with support to be your best self and to bring joy into everyday life versus just waiting for these spontaneous moments to arise. The second offer is the 5 week journey. So it's a 5 week course to dive deeper into the 5 steps of from simply surviving to radically thriving. We will use the book. So if you don't have the book, it will be part of the course, and it is $297 for the 5 weeks. Again, I will put the link in the comments below. And the last I'm really, really excited about, it's the 1 year anniversary of my best-selling book that is coming up in March. It was launched on March 11th of 2025. And so March 5th through the 8th of 2026, I am hosting a retreat in Sedona with Mary Gooden, my book publisher, to celebrate this launch. And we will be delving in deeply to several of the 5 steps and giving you time to connect with the beautiful energy in the rocks of Sedona. I know for myself, I just had so many fabulous experiences of feeling like I'm coming home to myself, of joy, of connection to the universe, to that which is bigger than me. And I know several of the rocks spoke to me, and I had several visions while I was out there. One was seeing this black sky with all of these constellations. And you know how you see the different zodiacs where they'll outline the different um, constellations or zodiacs. That's what I envisioned. And then there was one bright star, the North Star. And for me, that was knowing that I can tune into that guidance within me, that those constellations live inside of me. And when I'm focused toward my North Star, I'll see it. And when I'm going astray, I won't. So now it's my way of tuning into myself, of shutting out the world and seeing where I'm actually headed in the right direction or not. So I would love to talk to you more about the Sedona retreat. If that resonates with you, you can send me a direct message and I can share more information about that. Because again, joy is not something you earn after you've healed or done all of the things that you think you need to do. Joy is how healing happens. And as we move into this new year, my invitation is simple. Let joy lead you. Let ease be allowed, and let the light guide you home. And may you shine your light and be unstoppable in 2026.
I love that. So good. And if you guys have been following on in her book, I invite you to go to page 64 and 65. And it gets to ask you what brings you joy, what would what would bring me joy in this moment, which I love, which is just different. Reflection of joyful moments, a joy vision board. I love that because I am going to be working on my vision board for the new year. And so I definitely want to put things that bring me joy in my vision board. And I love the last one, number 5, is how can you share joy with someone else today? Because I think that's huge, especially in the season that we're in now, is, that when you see someone else get light up by spending time with them or bringing something that they like, or, if you're going to a friend's house and their favorite thing is, whatever, like I know my friend Sherry loves cheese and Brie's a thing. And so I made sure I got Brie so that I could bring baked Brie over for New Year's Eve dinner for tomorrow to go with her soup. And I'm just, there's that, what can I do for someone else to give them joy? And then that in return is that contagious joy then brings us joy. And I think that that's really what I want to leave everybody with today is what's one thing that you can do for others to share joy that will also fill you up and allow that ripple effect, that contagiousness that joy has to spread. Because now is the time to spread joy. What makes you laugh? Be silly. Like the big trend right now on social media is those silly candy cane AI things, right? And I was like, these things are cracking me up. And I was like, all right, ChatGPT, Cal, what are we going to do? I want to step on this trend and do it. And I posted mine today. And I was like, post your guys's on my thing. Like, I want to see things because it's silly, but it's silly in like the best kind of way. Because again, it's all about sharing joy and like what makes you laugh and, brings you joy. So see what you could do to bring some joy in someone else's life this season and allow that to be contagious so that it can light you up, light them up, and that ripple effect continue on. When you go into those holiday experiences, bring that light into the room for others, so that you can raise that vibration up together. I had one of the best compliments actually at that Christmas party I went to with my friend and her kids. She said that the host said that when we left, it was like a balloon had been deflated. Like the energy just kind of went flat afterwards because I was there and I was playing and I was new and I that's how I am. I'm a people person, right? Like, my poor introverted friends, like this is my nightmare to go into a house that I know nobody at. And I'm like, give me a glass of wine and strangers and I am happy. Like, let me make new friends, right? Like, so I was in my like element, loving it. And the host was like, yeah, once Leona left, it was like a balloon got deflated. And I was like, what an amazing compliment, because
Wow.
I do want to bring that lightness and that joy and that fun. And I want it to be contagious. And they could feel the shift when we left, that it wasn't there anymore. And I thought that was so cool for someone who has just met me to have that reflection. I thought that's amazing. So
Yeah,
think about
it's
how you can
beautiful.
light up the room and bring in, that air of energy, like a filled balloon of love to share with everyone. So I will definitely invite all of you to be able to share in that joy so that you can light yourself up and light others out. And I just hosting this space for being able to go through the 5 steps, it has been absolutely amazing, Ellen. I love the way it's simple and easy, and it's an easy read. So if you guys haven't got it, she'll make sure she puts the Amazon link in the comments as well, so that you can follow along and rewatch them. And they're also on my YouTube, and I've sent them to Ellen, so I'm sure they're going to get put on your YouTube as well.
Yes.
So there are many different platforms for us to be able to keep connecting, keep going back to, because the more you listen to it in a different season in your life, the more it'll resonate, the more you'll get from it. And we truly want to make sure that you're getting the most out of this. And then I'm going to leave it up at the end of an invitation of, if you know of another author or someone that has a book that they would like to share, this is a virtual book club space. I want to be able to host people or have a book that might be of an interest that we can host and read together, so we can still be able to create this community and connection. That's really what it is. It's all about connecting no matter where you are, and bringing like-minded people together that want to improve themselves, that want to be the light in the world, that want to create the ripple effect, that want to do the healing, that actually want to do the work to see the end result being different than where they are now, because they know that they're worthy and deserving of a better experience. And that's really what this space was in. So, of course, the Unstoppable You book had to be during the Unstoppable You Summit, and then leading into the unstoppable momentum energy of the horse year, the fiery horse year, is just been perfectly divinely timed. And so, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Well, thank you, my friend. And for those of you that celebrate Christmas and New Year's, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. For those of you that celebrate other holidays, hopefully you will enjoy those as well. And perhaps some of you are just enjoying some quiet time, and just wanted to do also acknowledge that sometimes these holidays are challenging for people, and to know that love and joy can coexist with sadness and grief, and they can also help lighten the burden of the sadness and grief. So would love to talk to you more about that if that's where you are in this holiday season.
Yes, absolutely. So we will say our farewells until next time, until next year. Well, I find my next author and book and club to join. I wish you guys a very merry, and a happy, all the things. And from my heart to all of yours, I send you much light and love. Peace until next time. Namaste.
Namaste.
Bye, my dear. Merry Christmas.
Blessings. Merry Christmas.
Blessings.